Okay, the first lesson in chapter 5-7 is to talk about Pascal's triangle. Pascal's triangle was created by the French mathematician Blaise Pascal, and it's used to expand a binomial being raised to a power. And that's pretty much what this whole lesson is all about, is expanding binomials raised to a power. And we're going to look at doing that an easy way. But before we can do that, we need to learn what Pascal's triangle is, because Pascal's triangle is used to expand your binomials. Okay, Pascal's triangle, it always starts and ends each row of the triangle with a 1. So if we start the very first row off, this is, let's not call it row 1, this is row 0. Row 0 has 1 element in it. Row 1, it's going to look like a set of bowling pins. It's going to have 2 elements. And the key here is that each row in the Pascal's triangle starts and ends with the number 1. So you notice, since this has 2 elements, it has to start with a 1 and end with a 1, so both of the slots there are filled with the number 1. Okay, so row 2. Row 2 has 3 elements in it, and it begins with the 1 and ends with the 1. How do you figure out the number in the middle? Well, you take the 2 numbers above it, which is the 1 and the 1, and you add it together to get a 2. So now row 3. Row 3 has 4 elements in it. And again, each row begins and ends with a 1, but now we're missing 2 terms, so we're going to take the numbers above this and we're going to add them together. 1 and 2 is 3. Let's add these 2 together. 2 and 1 is 3. Let's go ahead and create all the way down to row 5. So for row 4, we have 5 elements, because each row has 1 element more than the row number, and it begins and ends with the number 1. Let's figure out the missing terms. 1 and 3 is 4. 3 and 3 is 6. 3 and 1 is 4. And our last row that we're going to do is row 5, and it has 6 numbers in it. It begins and ends with the number 1. Let's add these 2 to get a 5, these 2 to get a 10, these 2 to get a 10, and these 2 to get a 5. So this is Pascal's triangle taken out to the 5th row. And we could continue and we could create as many rows as we wanted, but typically you'll only need to create somewhere between 5 and 7 rows to expand a binomial. So remember this, you're going to need to know this for quizzes and tests.